Let me ask you something. What if the most real thing you experience every single second of your life, that feeling of time passing, is actually just a trick your mind is playing on you? I mean, what if your whole life, from start to finish, is already laid out, existing all at once like a giant map? It sounds like wild science fiction, I know, but it's a question that comes directly from modern physics, and it shakes the very ground we stand on.
And get this isn't some fringe theory from a sci-fi convention. This is Albert Einstein himself. He said this in a letter, and it's mind-blowing. His work on relativity didn't just change how we think about gravity, it completely took a sledgehammer to our everyday idea of time. He's basically saying that line we draw between yesterday, today, and tomorrow, it's not real. It's just a stubborn illusion we can't seem to shake.
So let's really try to wrap our heads around that. What if the universe isn't a story being written as we go, but is more like a finished book that's already on the shelf? And we're just turning the pages, thinking the next chapter hasn't been written yet. Imagine that. Your birth, this very moment, and your death, all of them are equally real, just located at different points in this massive four-dimensional reality. Okay, let's dive into how this could possibly be true. To really appreciate how radical Einstein's idea is, we have to start with what feels normal, with how we think time works. You don't need to be a physicist for this part. For all of us, time feels like a river, right? It's constantly flowing in one direction, carrying us away from the past and into the unknown future.
Now, this intuitive idea actually has a fancy philosophical name. It's called presentism. And it's super simple. It's the belief that the only thing that's really real is right now, the present moment. The past? It's gone. It's just memories. The future? It's just a bunch of possibilities that haven't happened yet. The only thing that truly exists is the now.
So if you break it down, presentism is built on these ideas that just feel like common sense. The past is set in stone, can't change it. The future is a total blank slate. And all of reality is happening on this knife's edge of the present, which is constantly moving forward. This is so fundamental, it's literally built into how we talk. Past, present, and future tense. It's how we function. But modern physics has a huge problem with this entire picture.
And that brings us to the revolution. This is where our comfortable little river of time slams into a solid brick wall. Or maybe a better way to put it is a solid four-dimensional block. And I'm not talking about a small adjustment here. This is a complete teardown of everything we thought we knew.
Yeah, the general feeling among people who study this stuff is that Einstein's theory of relativity and presentism just can't both be true. See, Einstein showed us that space and time are woven together into one thing, space-time. And one of the weirdest results of this is that there's no such thing as a universal now. Two people moving at different speeds can actually disagree on what's happening at the same time. And if there's no universal now, then the idea that the present is special just evaporates.
So the theory that replaces presentism is called eternalism, or my favorite, the block universe. The idea is that time is just another dimension, like length or width. Think about it. London and New York both exist right now. They're just in different places. Well, the block universe says your first birthday and your last birthday also both exist. Equally real, just at different coordinates in space-time.
And this is where you can see the two ideas side by side. And they're just completely opposed. Presentism says the universe is like a movie that's being filmed live. Eternalism says the universe is the entire movie file, already rendered, existing all at once. That flow of time we feel, that's just our consciousness experiencing one slice, one frame of the movie, after another. The whole thing is already there.
Now, to really get how physicists landed on this wild idea of a block universe, it actually helps to look at how they revolutionized our idea of space, too. It turns out the debate about time has a twin debate about the nature of space itself. Is it just an empty stage, or is it part of the play?
So for hundreds of years, you had thinkers like Newton and Leibniz arguing about this. Is space a thing, like an invisible container that everything sits inside? That's Newton's view. Or is space just the set of relationships between things, the distance and direction between you and me? No things, no relationships, no space. That's Leibniz's view. For a long time, it was just a philosophical head-scratcher.
And then, boom, general relativity. The physicist John Wheeler put it perfectly. Space-time tells matter how to move, matter tells space-time how to curve. Imagine putting a bowling ball on a trampoline. The heavy ball curves the fabric, and that curve tells a little marble how to roll. Space-time isn't a passive background. It's a real, dynamic thing that gets bent and warped. And that makes it sound a whole lot like a substance, the actual fabric of our block universe.
But as you can imagine, a lot of people just hate this idea of a static, pre-written universe. I mean, it's pretty bleak, right? It seems to get rid of free will, change, growth, all the things that make life feel meaningful. It makes us all puppets in a play that's already been recorded. So there's been a rebellion against this idea. The philosopher John Lucas really summed up the frustration. He said, "The block universe is just inadequate. It might look neat on paper, but it completely fails to explain our most basic experiences. The feeling that time is passing, that now is special, and that the future is different from the past. It just dismisses all of it as an illusion."
And this rebellion isn't just based on a feeling. Look at biology. It's the story of becoming. Things grow, they evolve, they change. Or what about our own sense of agency? We make choices that we feel genuinely shape what happens next. That feels impossible in a fixed universe. Even in physics, you've got things like the twin paradox, which shows that the journey you take through space-time, the actual process, has real physical effects on how you age. That suggests that happening is a real thing, not just in our heads.
And he wasn't alone. The famous philosopher Karl Popper was a huge critic too. He argued that a pre-written universe is basically a nightmare that goes against everything we see in the world, from creativity to evolution. The point is, the pushback against the block universe is strong, it's passionate, and it comes from a lot of different places.
So what is going on here? How can our best theory of physics point one way, while our deepest experiences point in the complete opposite direction? Well, it might be that this isn't just about time anymore. This is a clash between two totally different ways of looking at reality itself. Two competing worldviews.
When you dig down, this is what you find. On one side, you have the objectivist worldview. It says the most fundamental thing about reality is static being. The universe is made of timeless objects and unchanging laws. Here, time is an illusion, and history is already written. This is the natural home for the block universe. But on the other side, you have the processist worldview. It says the most fundamental thing is dynamic becoming. The universe is made of active processes, and reality is constantly being created. Here, time is real, and history is the story of how one thing causes the next.
The objectivist view comes straight out of the world of math and classical physics. It dreams of a perfect, eternal, unchanging reality described by beautiful, timeless laws. In that kind of universe, the block universe makes perfect sense. It's the ultimate, elegant, unchanging mathematical object that describes everything, all at once.
The processist view, on the other hand, is inspired by the messy, chaotic, beautiful world of biology. Life isn't about static objects, it's about dynamic processes. It sees the universe not as a finished sculpture, but as a work in progress, a story that's still unfolding, constantly creating itself in new and unpredictable ways.
So in the end, that's the epic question we're left with. Our most successful theory of gravity points to a static, finished block universe, a place where our future is already written. But everything about being alive, our biology, our consciousness, our experience, screams that time is real, change is real, and the future is an open book. So which is it? Is our universe a finished novel that we're just reading, or is it a story that's still being written, with us as the authors? Physics hasn't given us the final answer, leaving us right in the middle of this incredible mystery.